As honestly, that's something I need to do a hell of a lot more, like thinking about, like investing, just even if it's just a little bit. I mean,
it's all kinds of investing. There's like invest and forget, which is like long term.
Investing in prostitutes. But I heard your mom's not working anymore.
Yeah,
you know what? I should stop with the mom jokes. That's my aunt. It doesn't work.
It doesn't have the bounce back.
Oh, it has bounce back. Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. I'm Dustin.
I'm Corey.
And we are the Couch Play Cousins, the beautiful, beautiful Couch Play Cousins. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about fanboyism.
Yeah.
Right? Which is...
You mean fan peopleism.
You know, okay, and you know what? Actually, I'm glad you said that because let me just make a quick disclaimer on that. All right, like the whole like fanboyism. Okay, because we're gonna refer to it as fanboyism, and I know it's got the word fucking boy in it, but this isn't an attack on gender or anything like that. This is just simply a terminology. It's just a simple way of just defining one
sensitive piece of shit.
So fan whatever genderism, that's what we're talking about. And also, since I'm on a good note here, since I'm making a lot of friends, don't forget to check out our Twitter page at couch_cousins because we're doing a giveaway. We're giving away $20 to your platform of choice once we reach 100 subscribers. So there you go.
Incentivization.
Yeah.
Yes.
And as always, we're going to be drinking during the episode. Today, we're going back to one of our favorites, and that is...
Basil Hayden.
Basil Hayden. So we're going back to Basil.
Always a good choice.
Yeah, you could call us fanboys.
Just still waiting
Basil
for
Hayden's.
that sponsorship, Basil.
Yeah, where the
when
fuck's
you
our
coming?
So yeah, we're talking about fanboyism. So obviously, so like if we're looking at the actual definition of fanboyism, it's essentially an individual that is obsessed with a certain thing. But I think we take that a little bit further in the gaming community.
Absolutely.
And because it's never like a positive thing, right? Like
it's always in a negative context.
Yeah, you don't ever hear like somebody like, oh yeah, Matt, he's a great guy, he's such a fanboy, I love it. Like it's always like he's a fucking fanboy, he's a fucking Nintendo fanboy.
It's always in negative context, always.
It's like somebody that will like borderline defend a company
to the death.
Like that borderline apologetic aspect of things.
I agree. I think when I view a fanboy, it's literally someone who's almost apologizing for a company. Like they're so in, they're so deep,
they're balls deep in that company.
Yes, they're basically.
And they're just getting, wow, no, I was trying to make like a blue ball joke, but it wasn't going to work.
But no, like they get to the point where a company could just royally fuck up and they're like, give them a break, guys. They're just trying their best. It's just like, so I view fanboys kind of from a pretty negative context. But
so, because I know when I think of the word fanboyism, like the first thing that sort of comes to my mind is like, the fanboys that surround like a particular franchise, an obsession over a franchise. Think of like
Team Edward or Team Jacob.
Yeah, no, like I immediately think of something like obviously like the obvious candidates are like Zelda or Final Fantasy games.
Okay, yeah, I could see that.
Like there's this huge fan base around these games, and some of which fall into that fanboy category of these games are perfect and I won't hear anything else. I won't hear anything about it.
So they're like absolutionists. It's like, this is perfect. This is like, it can't get much better than this.
Right. This is pure gaming nirvana. Like even if you think about it, like there's almost like a slight brand entitlement that kind of ties into that, like a little bit. Like
I think you know what you're talking about. These are like the people that completely ignore like a glaring mistake or something bad in it and say, oh, the developers are trying to be artsy about that.
Right.
Or there's like they find meaning in something that just is an obvious like issue in the game.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I get what you're saying like that. What is like, I don't know enough about like Zelda. I'm going to keep catching flack for that. So give me an example.
Shame.
Give me an example. Like what is a pretty big mistake or an issue in Zelda that you think people are like that with?
Skyward Sword.
Skyward Sword?
Just the whole game.
The whole game? Okay.
Ever since, there's this sort of like this glaring opinion from the other end that the formula, the Zelda formula, is going stale, right?
Okay.
And I think that like Skyward Sword, in my opinion, is the first time where I actually like felt like that was a reality. And I feel like that's the only one that has like the most mixed amount of opinions in that franchise too. Well, actually, and you know what? I'll give you another one, because this kind of this where you'll see this fanboyism play out a lot.
Okay.
Is in like if you go to like Metacritic and look up like the user reviews and like all the review bombings and everything that you see out there, like of course you have, you know, the gaming community in general. Like Zelda is a humongous franchise, and it's you know,
it's true.
It's
been going for a while.
Yeah, and it's not just fanboys. Like it does deserve all the credit that it gets, but there are a lot of people that will give certain titles perfect scores when maybe they don't deserve to get them,
or the reverse of it.
And then you'll have the other side come in and just give them zeros just to try to bring the scores down because they don't think it deserves it. And it's like it's kind of like reverse fanboyism, or it's like fanboyism for another console or franchise that actually hates Zelda, that like is trying to defeat it, and that itself is a fanboyism. You know what I mean? It's like really
a war
bizarre.
of fanboys. I was just wondering, like something you were just saying that kind of made me think real quick. People love to hate what others love. Yeah, I know it's kind of a twist on things, but it's true.
Yep.
So I agree with you there.
But it's just this sort of like double-edged sword, right? There's fanboys that are apologetic and unflinching in a game's poor qualities or flaws, and then there's the people that like don't hate on something for its flaws, but they hate on it to hate on it because they simply hate it, whether it's because they're a fanboy of another platform or series.
Yeah.
So it's just fanboy war all around.
When you hear something that might mind fuck you, all right.
Oh boy.
So how about we find something we really hate, pretend to love it, so we build a coalition of people who hate it, truly getting our end goal of people to hate it.
Wow.
I know, right?
My brain feels weird. But anyway, so that's I guess one of the things that comes to my mind first and foremost when I think fanboys. I think that kind of loyalty.
Yeah, I agree.
It kind of sucks because I think that it sort of damages the community as a whole, because now it's like almost any time you say that you like something or whatever, you almost sort of have to defend the fact that you like it, because people are just like almost roll their eyes instantly and be like, oh, another fanboy. It's like even outside of gaming, like Apple, you know, like the people that are like Apple obsessed.
Yeah.
And, you know, like it creates like this whole like now when I tell people, oh no, like I use Apple devices, but I'm not an Apple person. I just really like how their phones function.
It's just one of the things where like every time almost I feel like you make a statement about something you're interested in or passionate about, you have, like especially in the social like media atmospheres, like is this the hill you want to die on? Because you're gonna catch flack for it, and either you're a staunch defender now. Or you are gonna have to bend over and be like, okay, guys, I'm sorry for saying that. So it's like I don't know. It's interesting world we're living right now. For sure.
So that's one thing, and then there's like another extreme that I guess kind of boils down to the what I'm calling like that reverse fanboyism. Like the people that hate things that do something extreme. Due to a hate or a fanboyism, like I don't know exactly how to describe this, but I'll give you an example.
Okay.
So I don't know if you caught wind of this, but there's a this is also related to Nintendo. Big shock. But there was a clone, like a Zelda clone that recently got announced. It's called Genshin Impact, and I think I have that right.
Is it like a Chinese knockoff?
It is. Well, it's definitely very Chinese. It's very anime. But it is like if you watch side by side comparisons to Breath of the Wild, I mean, it is like they straight up ripped off Breath of the Wild. Like I don't care what you say, it's a straight up rip off.
That's a very big thing nowadays with the knockoffs. There's like an Overwatch knockoff. There's anything that's popular in America. I don't know what it is with like the trade agreements or something. But there's almost anything's popular.
What did you see? Did you see there's a Namco Smitch?
A Smitch?
It literally looks like a Nintendo Switch.
It sounds like a monster from Harry Potter. You know, it's like, no, look out for the Smitch, it's gonna get you.
But yeah, it's called the Namco Smitch or something. Yeah, and it's like preloaded with all retro NES games or some shit. I don't know.
Harry Potter in the Chamber of the Smitch.
Like, I kind of want one just to see what it's all about. But anyway, so there's this ripoff of Breath of the Wild, right? And everything takes inspiration of everything else, and that's great. But this was straight up like a ripoff.
Mm-hmm.
But there's videos. There's one specific video out there where there's this guy. Like, there's a bunch of images where people are taking pictures with their middle fingers holding up Breath of the Wild in front of the Genshin Impact.
Yeah,
and that's really stupid. But then there's this one guy. He created a video, or somebody filmed him, something. He comes in and he smashes his PS4 on the ground because of this.
Wow.
Because it's I forgot to mention, because it's a PS4. It was announced as a PS4 exclusive, I think, or like another platform game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny because
like his reaction was to destroy his system,
right? Like what's that doing? But then here's the other funny thing. There's a part 2 to this story.
He rebuilds it
stronger. No, they actually just recently announced that game, the Genshin Impact, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, but they just announced that it's going to be coming to Switch. And I found an article that said that, and then I read through the comments, and it was like a bunch of people that are like, yeah, no, this looks pretty good. I kind of can see that. I don't see how it's that much of a ripoff. And I'm like, you motherfuckers. Like,
it's just a bunch of fucking sellouts.
It's just, like, pick a side, because like it was shitty when it wasn't coming to your console.
Mm-hmm.
But now that it's coming to your console of choice, you're okay with it.
That raises a question, like, how fragile is maybe fanboyism? Is it like only whenever you don't have like access to the thing you're cranky about, or is it? I don't know. It just like you just kind of proved a point where like, is fanboyism so fragile that it breaks under any like opportunity to gain?
I mean, I'm sure people will find a reason to be shitty over like another. I don't know. Like maybe cloud gaming will change that a little bit. We talked about that before.
I was just thinking like. Exclusives usually breed fanboyism, in my opinion. Like,
I think that's
your Gears, your Halo, from the Xbox side of things. Spider-Man, and So, what would happen if all of a sudden, like hypothetically, people on the Sony platform got their hands on Gears? It became, I'm sure the one fanboy side would be like losing their fucking minds.
Well, then it becomes, I guess, a matter of the hardware.
Yeah.
This dates back, right? This isn't anything
new.
A
long time.
Right, like even back in the day, like Sega Genesis came out. And remember that old ad? Sega does what Nintendo don't?
Yeah.
So like, I mean, it was always, and like they kind of formed a brand around that. And then even when like Sony came out, you remember when Crash Bandicoot, like the ads where Crash was like calling out Mario?
Yeah.
Yeah, those were awesome. But like
I wish companies would go back to that straight up, just like, hey, fuck you.
Yeah.
Just going directly out of the companies.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And Mario was like stereotypically semi-racist Italian. I miss that.
But I remember that, yeah.
Do you remember, I think like back when we were a lot younger, I think it was like the PS3, Xbox 360 era.
Oh, we're just wee little babies then.
It was, but it almost felt like that's when we really started to notice the fanboyism of the culture, because like, especially with Xbox, right? Like, we almost defined Xbox as teenage douchebags, like in their parents' basement that were playing like these preteens that were playing Call of Duty, and like that like almost became synonymous with the Xbox brand. Is like that's the demographic that plays Xbox. And like, and it's funny, like, because sometimes, like, I think sometimes the brands almost feed off of it a little bit.
I agree. All these companies at the end of the day is they want to build their brand, just like any other company. So they have these extravagant fucking releases of their exclusives or whatever, or their exclusive system, because they're trying to build on fanboyism. They're trying to build on their core fan base, which, needless to say, is just really, I feel like at the end of the day, it's just a bunch of Sony fanboys and Xbox fanboys, and then you have your Nintendo people kind of like in the rafters.
Well, I actually disagree with you, you piece of shit. No, no, I actually think it's funny. I actually think Nintendo fanboys get the most flack.
You think so?
Yeah, and I think it's because like people sort of see them being stuck in the past. Not only are Nintendo like I think seen as sort of like the harshest fanboys because they're the ones that smash their PS4s, but they're also like they're seen as sort of like the crybabies too because they're seen as like immature because of like the family friendly like sort of reputation that Nintendo has.
I could see that.
And I also think like because like they're so, like Nintendo's so rooted in the gaming history and culture, but I mean, and it sort of kind of comes back and it plays along with what we were saying earlier about like certain franchise obsessions and worship and everything. And I think like I think Zelda is sort of one of the most not just critically acclaimed, but like biggest fanboy bases out there.
It's true.
So because of that reason, and you combine that with the idea of like kiddie and immaturity and everything, it just really kind of cultivates this, just this gross collection of fanboys.
I don't know. I always have like a more, I guess, a global view. If Nintendo's fanboys are like hyper predominant, or because you always hear about the Xbox and Sony fanboys like clashing their heads against each other.
Yeah.
I don't know. And you don't see cross fanboyism either, do you think? Like, you don't really see many, like, because I don't think people can afford really to, have more than one console to a certain extent.
No, I either see the Sony side, Xbox side, or I see the PC side that hates both Sony and Xbox.
Yeah.
And you ever notice the people that, like, a lot of the demographic that owns a Switch actually own a PC, and then the Switch is their secondary?
I always view, like, you have, like, Sony and Xbox like clashing their heads against each other, like I said, and like Nintendo's kind of like orbiting around them, like that kid. It's like the hype kid is like, "Whoa, look at this!"
Well, they had the I don't know who maybe was Nintendo themselves that they did some kind of like article posting or something like that where they said like Sony and Microsoft are in the Red Sea, they're battling each other out, a lot of blood in the water, and Nintendo is more focused on the blue ocean.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're focused on doing the things that Sony and Microsoft are not doing. They're like Sony and Microsoft are the trend followers. Nintendo's trying to set the trends and stuff like that. And, well, which is funny because, it's like I almost like being someone that has owned and owns all platforms. Like I actually favorite certain aspects about each different one. Like like I like Microsoft's online and multiplayer and like their interface setup the most.
Yeah.
I like PlayStation's exclusives and controllers. Well, then I guess I would say I like Nintendo's exclusives and just their actual mechanics and game design. Like
I kind of agree with that. I think I like at first I hated Microsoft's kind of system, like the tab-based system, but it's okay. But their multiplayer is really good. Even their ability to do cross-platform, it's a little bit of a janky system right now, but I think they've got that. And so I think each system has its own benefit.
Yeah, pros and cons.
Sony, I'm going to get some haters for this, but Sony still...
It's all right. Everyone hates you anyway.
That's good, Sony, I still think, has the edge. At the end of the day, they focus on exclusives, and that's what people want in the end. You don't have to have the most rockin' system if you have amazing content.
Yeah. Well, that's where Nintendo lives too, and that's why they have a lot of fanboys in their department too. So it's all about exclusives. And I think you're right. This does touch back to what you said, is a lot of it boils down to who has the exclusives, who has what exclusives.
Hear me, Xbox? Pick it up.
Well, but okay, but and you know what, like while sticking to the fanboyism like discussion though, I guess my question with fanboyism is why, like what are we as the consumer, like what is the motivation for somebody to be a fanboy, other than like, is it just simply a FOMO issue, a fear missing out of like the exclusives, or is there like some deeper shit going on there? Because what are you getting out of that relationship?
I think fanboyism, just like, and this expounds beyond just gaming. I think people, I'm gonna go a little deep here, but people self-identify with products. They want their product because of their opinions to be the best.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
I am my vibrator.
Exactly. We vibe.
What?
I think it's a vibrator company. I'm just.
Oh, really? I
think
thought that was
so.
just going to be our tagline. I thought you just came up with it.
We vibe if you exist.
That's it.
Sponsors.
Bye. See you next week.
But no, people self-identify with something they're passionate about. Usually gamers can't afford to be passionate about multiple systems because of the money situation. So we buy one system and we lock arms around and go, this is the best. I love it because first of all, it's the only one I have.
Yeah.
And they just kind of circle their wagons around whatever they bought at the time. And they begin to, I don't know, cognitive dissonance. And what I mean by that is people become unwilling to look at the negatives of their system because it's the only one they can afford.
Yeah.
And they go, this is the best system because it's mine.
So it's sort of like validating their like purchases decisions, right?
Exactly.
Like, it's sort of like you just invested a bunch of time and money into one product and you don't have enough to support the other product. So you get into that mental, and I think like to expand on that a little bit, like for example, you know what actually might help with this discussion is
more alcohol.
Yeah. Cheers. But are there like, so would you say that you identify as a fanboy of anything? Like, is there something that you...
That's a tough
If you had
call.
to consider yourself...
If I had to pick one and I'm like, this is really interesting.
I have a gun to your balls right now. So you actually do have
left nut or right nut. I'm privy to one of them.
The third nut.
Oh, no. And this is actually a really hard question because I own systems. If you were to make me pick a system, it'd be the PC. And my only reasoning behind is because that's where all my friends are playing on right now.
What a douche.
I know. So I'm over here twisting them and it's like, peasants!
He's been on PC for a couple months. He's like, well...
I'm above all of you in this.
I see every time you take a drink, your pinky's out.
Yeah.
I've been watching you.
But no, I see the benefits in all the systems, but I see the benefit in the PC overall. But I'm not going to... And so I'd say I pick the PC. One, because personally, that's where I get most of my interactions through, my social interactions. Not fuck, I sound like such a loser. That's where all my friends are. No,
and you look like one too.
But that's where I play all my games with my friends through.
Yeah.
I sometimes do some, couch co-op with you, but realistically, most of my fun games are through the PC right now, and so I'm going to side with that until another console does something better. Now, much like a fickle piece of shit.
Apple Arcade.
Yeah, I will hop over to wherever my friends go. I have very loose alliances, you could say. I'm basically one of those guys from like Game of Thrones where I just go around stabbing all the other people in the back.
Yeah. Well, so the reason I ask this is because I'll answer myself. Like, obviously, it's clear that I kind of fanboyism a little bit towards Nintendo, right? Like, that's no secret. But and the reason for that is because of the gameplay mechanics. I mean, obviously the a lot of the exclusives, but beyond the exclusives is the actual mechanics, the way in which each game controls. It harkens back to the arcadey days. And that's what I love about video games. So like for me,
so you're like a mechanics whore.
Yeah, a little bit. But like but not in like but I like simplicity too. So like not like in-depth mechanics, but like simplicity and like in the way a character controls.
But the synaptic feedback.
Not that. I'm the type of person that turns rumble off on everything.
Yeah, it is distracting.
Except my vibrator. Okay, I don't know why I'm talking about vibrators. Good night, everybody. So and I think this kind of comes back to what we're talking about is like the why. I think like people sort of like, I do find myself when I play games on other systems, I do find myself comparing it to the experiences I have on Nintendo. Like this open world game isn't as good as Breath of the Wild, or this game doesn't control as well as Mario, or whatever it is. And for those reasons, it sounds a lot like I only like Nintendo. Like I'm a super fanboy of Nintendo. But the truth is just that it's like, it's not just what I'm used to, but what I hold as sort of a gold standard for gaming experiences. So I guess some people could be looking at whatever console of their choice. Like if you're into the cinematic experiences, Sony's got your ass covered.
Yeah.
Like a
like an ass flap.
Like an ass flap.
I don't know what I
really would. I don't have anything. I'm sorry. Good night, everybody. And then a high note. So
I think Sony has it with the storytelling. Mm-hmm. I still think Xbox has this weird kind of edge for first-person shooters, kind of like the Halo, the Gears. Well, Gears more third-person, but
yeah.
Xbox still has the mechanics of
FPS and online multiplayer.
Yeah, I think so. But I think at the end of the day, I don't know. I think a lot of the fans are up for grabs when the cloud comes.
They're up for grabs, you say?
I think what's all become exclusives, and unfortunately, Sony I think has a lot of the game developers that can produce.
I'm mildly triggered every time you say Sony has the exclusives because I'm like, and Nintendo.
Yeah, but
and Nintendo, you motherfucker, I'm a fanboy. No. I hear what you're saying though, and I agree with that. But I think we kind of ran off a little bit with that. But I do think that the greater thing that I think about here is I do think that people latch a little too close to their console of choice, and I'm always sort of sat there thinking like, but why? Because at the end of the day, I think competition is great for the industry.
Oh yeah,
like you shouldn't be breaking your system on the ground when there's a clone of a game. Like you should be embracing it, because honestly, like that's gonna drive a company like Nintendo or Microsoft, whoever's being cloned, or Sony, to reinvent the wheel again and to come up with something different, and you're going to get a better product by the company that you love, even if you can play another system and love those games too. Like, I mean, I'd love for every game on every system to be great. Like, I'd love every experience to be amazing.
I agree. Imitation is the most sincerest form of flattery, and when a clone comes out, usually the original holds out, and the original redefines itself again, like you said. Between Overwatch, between this other game that you mentioned coming out, there's always gonna be knockoffs, cheap knockoffs of the original. But if anything, that only means the original was so freaking good that other companies are showing that they're trying to gain some of the residual from it. So I don't think it's really gonna harm the original product,
right? No, and because at the end of the day, if let's say nobody ripped anybody off or whatever it was, and your company was the only company that did the things that you liked, no one was pushing them to move forward, then they just continue, like all the negative things would just continue to build up, and then you just have to deal with it. Because I mean, why apologize? Why apologize for Nintendo's terrible online infrastructure? Why apologize for Microsoft's lack of exclusives? Like, why do any of this shit? Because at the end of the day, you're the paying customer.
Yep.
And they don't give a fuck about you. You could die tomorrow. They're not going to put a memo about you. Like, oh man, we lost a
we're all
fan
just a bunch
today.
Of wallets.
Yeah.
And
and that's what the reason they put any of these products on the market is because they want your money. And I think we should make them fight for that, because that's how we're all going to get the best experience possible from any platform.
I agree. And the whole concept of if competition breeds excellence, if Sony doesn't have a competitor, albeit a kind of kneecapped competitor that is Xbox, if they didn't have a competitor, they would just kind of get lax and start generating garbage content, because there's no one out there nipping at their heels.
Yeah.
So I think fanboyism, to a certain extent, at least pushes competition. It's these two companies fighting over their fanboys, their fan base, and they have to excel and at least bring out the next, big thing.
Yeah.
To fight over their fanboys and generate controversy, generate content. Yeah. So I think that's the positive of it.
Are there any industry things out there, like current fanboyism, like very popular are there any situations, companies, or anything that like fanboyism that's just absolutely the worst?
Oh, I have a strong opinion. I don't know how you're feeling on it, but I
You better not say Zelda.
I loathe with a fucking seething red hot passion people that are okay. They're okay with like half finished games and going, okay, this is the new norm.
Is there a fanboyism of that though?
I don't know if it's the new generation of me just being like back in my day, but I don't know. But I feel like people are so.
I mean, I will agree with you. I hate there are a lot of people that love, like a new generation of people that love DLC.
Yes, that's what I'm getting at.
And I actually, you know what? I actually wasn't sure what my answer was gonna be, but I'm gonna fanboy off of your answer, and I'm gonna steal that answer because imitation is the something of something I've been drinking. So. Yeah, I think that's become like kind of a cultural thing where like people love DLC so much that and to a certain degree I do actually understand that. But this culture of like give me more DLC to a game that I love, and I'm over there going, no, give me like start developing the next game, give me another game, give me a complete game. And those Linux fanboys, fuck those.
But I don't know, like you said, I don't know if it quite hits the fanboy thing, but people are fans. They defend this business practice. That drives me nuts.
Yeah,
like fucking nuts. I want a game. I want a finished product, and that will make me happy. Not okay. And DLC
Corey just
part
wants
1.
to finish. That'll make him happy.
Yeah, just edging my way. Gotta crack out those masturbation jokes if you can.
One an episode.
But I just want a solid experience all the way through and not have to buy a DLC to finish it.
Actually, that's it's like we're talking about the sexual references. I think next time I dissatisfy my woman, I'm gonna be like, well, for $9.99 you can buy the DLC and
get the full product.
Yeah, no, I think it's interesting because I didn't think about that so much as like a fanboyism, but I do actually. There is a culture that of people out there that want more DLC. They sort of favor that, or I would actually even almost say like the digital age itself. Mm-hmm. This like we talked a little bit way in the past about like digital versus physical. But the idea of like people wanting everything to just be digitally accessible, I think like is sort of like damning the gaming community or the gaming sort of environment, because we are getting half complete games.
We are.
Actually, you know what? Like could I even enlist resolution technology fanboys into this idea? Because like
technophiles.
Yeah, like that shit's fucking pissing me off. Like everyone that's craving 4K, 8K, all this kind of shit, you're fucking up the industry because A, half that shit's not ready. B, the other half of it's probably not even necessary. And C, like all those assets, all like that, you're adding so much to not only the development time, but then the lack of features and the lack of polish that all these games are going to come out with in order to meet those deadlines, because they have to fucking like try to like fill that expectation of resolution and visual fidelity that all these people are like coming their pants over. No,
I agree. Every corner of the market, I think, every single aspect of gaming price, some weird fanboyism to it.
Yeah.
And I think we could have like a back and forth for the next like probably like half an hour about what we hate about people in gaming.
Yeah.
Might be a future piece of content. It's like just seething anger.
Yeah.
What grinds my gears.
I guess the last thing I would question is the impact on cloud gaming. Like, I mean, I can see the impact on cloud gaming maybe like affecting fanboyism a little bit, because I mean, if things go subscription route or whatever it is, like I can see like if you can get any system on any device, like do people need to defend anything anymore?
I think it's going to dilute down to, we already kind of see it with your Netflix, Hulu, Disney Plus.
Yeah.
It's all, we already see it. The future is now.
Yeah.
But most people don't have all 3 subscriptions.
That's true.
And they usually have their selection, or they might hop between one subscription and another. So we already see kind of the exclusive streaming service already now.
So you think that there's still, because of all that subscription fatigue, which could probably be a subject on its own.
Yes.
You think that like gaming will kind of suffer the same consequences where like Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft will all have their own sort of subscription base that like while they're all great and you can have access to all, they're each going to cost like $15 a month and like you can't afford all those, so like you're going to sort of fanboy over the subscriptions.
I think it's already happening, man. I think look at Xbox Gamer Pass, PS Now.
Well, PS Now and Xbox Game Pass is a little different.
But it's the pre-genitors of what I'm talking about. It's
pre-genitals.
But it's showing what the future is going to hold. It's going to be Xbox already kind of has what the future is going to hold. It's going to be all their games digital, and with subscription fatigue, we're going to have the fanboys of who again can only afford the Xbox One, the PlayStation 1 Plus, the 10 other fucking subscriptions you have for all of the other streaming services. So it's going to be the same thing. And what at the end of the day drives that streaming service is exclusives.
Yep.
Your Witcher, your Baby Yoda. What are you going to choose?
Yeah, that's a really interesting point, because I'm over here. I was thinking, I was like, yeah, I'm really smart. All this like cloud gaming is going to stop it. And you're like, nope, idiot. But no, I actually agree with you. I think this subscription thing is just going to, I think fanboyism will always be fanboyism.
Yep.
But yeah, it's just, I like to. I think you could, if I had to pick one, you could obviously throw me in the Nintendo fanboy, sector. But I like to think that I'm not that, and I appreciate all platforms for what they are. And if Nintendo fucks up, I say they fucked up. But
I think Nintendo is going to not quite quickly jump into the streaming side of things. I think they're going to go with a different side of the market, which is the accessibility side of the market, which they have already kind of cornered with the Switch, and I think they're going to build upon that. Yeah,
I think handhelds, the handheld market has always been their forte.
And I think they will have the fanboyism of the handheld market.
Yep.
And I think that's where you're going to see the deviation within the next 4 to 5 years. Accessibility physical-wise versus accessibility digital streaming wise, and that's gonna be the deviation of it. So that's my suspicion when it comes to fanboyism in the future.
Cool. All right. Well, I think that about does it. So if you like what you hear, you want to hear more from us,
you do.
Yeah. So you can check us out on Twitter at @couch_cousins. We have a Facebook at Couch Play Cousins, and we even have a website. And there you can link to all of our other shit. So what the fuck, just check it out. It's cool. We Twitch every other Saturday. We just did one last Saturday. So if you missed that, you can find it on our YouTube channel. We post the highlights on there. And don't forget to check out our Twitter, because we are doing the giveaway there for 100 subscribers. Once we hit that number, we're going to do a drawing, give $20 away to your platform of choice, except for Epic Game Store. Fuck you, Epic Games.
Yeah, you broke our hearts with your stupid-ass exclusives.
But yeah, so check that out, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Later, guys. Cheers.
Cheers. I cheers you.
Jinx.
You owe me some Coke.